Nuclear marine engineering. I had about 20 years with Fortune 500 company, which the last 5 years were modeling the economy of New York State. I had groups across the state, had about 30 people from Buffalo to Montauk. And we actually modeled between the federal, state, national governments, local governments. So we got quite a good look at what's in New York Tech. After that, I became an entrepreneur. I started my own company and was very happy doing that. And when we reached the point where Bush came in, if you all remember the Ashcroft hearings, that's when I really became quite energized. I'd always been involved a little bit in the culture wars. At that particular point, I became quite involved. Today, you'll still hear Leahy and Durbin talk about being accused of anti-Christian bigotry. I just heard them say it the other day. And I'm the guy, I'm the reason why they say that. Because what happened with the Ashcroft situation was that I saw what was going on. They were just simply against this man because he was a truly decent Christian man. He was a truly decent man. And they just can't stand decency and innocence. It's literally, they just can't stand it. They can't stand a righteous individual. So I had an org called yankeesamus.org. And I put out a little petition to stop the Christian bigotry down in Washington vis-a-vis the Ashcroft nomination. Norma McCovey signed it, and then with that we rolled it over, and within about 2 days we had about 4,000 signatures, of which a little over 1/3 were Admiral so-and-so and CEO of this and president of that. It was a phenomenal mix of leaders. So that I turned around, and at that time they were still reading emails. And I made a PDF. Anybody know what PDF files? I made a PDF files, put it all. And having delivered all of this by overnights to the leadership in the Senate and the House, as well as the White House, I then had this thing made up as a PDF, and I sent an email saying 4,000 signatures, 4,000 citizens concerned with Ashcroft. And that then inside, but it didn't say which way they were going. And inside the email, it just said 4,000, but it elucidated the issue of the fact that there was a lot of leadership people involved. But it still didn't say which way they were going. But you had to download the PDF. Well, the next morning, I watched in the Senate, and I watched Orrin Hatch using the words we were using. I heard Rush Limbaugh using the term, we don't have to check our morals at the doors of Congress. And I heard Durbin and Leahy whining about being accused of anti-Christian bigotry. So that really got me charged up, because it said to me, and it reinforced the idea that most of what is happening in this nation, the fiscal disasters, especially, the origin is always something that has been a part of social engineering. And these people are really vulnerable on that terrain. They fight against us on this social terrain. It has to do really with the essence of what Frederick Engels, the co-author of the Communist Manifesto, wrote. He wrote that in order for socialism to succeed, you had to destroy religion, traditional family, and marriage. You had to destroy that in order to create individuals who are malleable, who could become the new individual. Okay? So if you look at the history of socialism in this country, you see this constant trend to de-Christianize it, to bring religion out. You see the constant trend to create unstable families. Now, that doesn't mean that every individual who voted for these things understood what he was doing. Probably 2/3 of the people in Nazi Germany had no idea what was going on, other than the fact that they didn't have no religion in the world. So, but the thing is, these ideas have percolated through and they drive what is going on. For instance, if you look at Fannie Mae, what you're looking at is a social engineering operation, but because it's not based upon truth, you end up with a fiscal disaster. The immigration situation is another one. Again and again and again, if you look at the programs that have been initiated, all based upon the idea of destabilization, what you see is something, for instance, what we see with the black community today. Here we have one segment of the population that has virtually been destroyed in terms of the family. They now have somewhere in the area of about 70–80% fatherless homes, single-parent homes. The out of wedlock is up to about 80%. And what you see for the $1 trillion of public money being spent is Detroit. What you see is the unending Detroits, the unending disasters of Buffalo, of New York City, of Harlem, again and again and again. We see that around the country. So when I first started that, I saw that, and at that particular point, I said, gee whiz, I'm going to operate at a different level. I'm going to fight this culture war for real. And I started up the Catholic Family Association of America. And I did an awful lot of work. I enjoyed it immensely because I just loved the street fight. I could actually go into a telephone booth and have one of those fabled knife fight telephone booth and probably enjoy it. I mean, I am that type of person. Well, I enjoyed sticking it to Durbin and these people again and again and again. And I've done it again and again and again over the years. And when I think about why I first decided to run, I said, by the way, after that, then I started into the business because I had to make some money. You can't do something like that forever without having to pay the piper. And after about 5 years, I started another business, which we're now running. My son's now running. Now, one of the reasons why I'm running is because having grown up as a World War II kid, I literally have been permeated with what happened up to the war, what happened through it, what happened during the post-war period, the whole Cold War thing. I've read history that I just can't believe the amount of history that I've read. I probably read 2/3 of Churchill alone. And my understanding of what has been happening has been, it can be truly validated by what I have seen happen. In my lifetime, I have seen virtually all county power shift to the state, and virtually all real estate power shift to Washington. Okay. We have had an enormous shift of power. And that shift in power is illustrated by some very simple things. We've all heard of the town that has had to apply to the federal government for a grant for a policeman. How far that reach has come down. As of yesterday down in Georgia, not Soviet Georgia, mind you, our own Georgia, we had an issue in which a senior citizen's residents could not pray anymore because part of their lunch was subsidized by federal funds. In other words, the percolation, the trickle-down arrogance of government has permeated virtually every aspect of our society. And it truly should frighten us, because what we're looking at is 100 years of push in this direction. And in truth, you can go back to the French Revolution, because that's when I see modern history starting. And we're seeing it, and now we're starting to see the culmination of it.